We got Sean Rose with the stories making the news this week. Yes, sir. Sean, what's up?
Greetings, Edrenka. Greetings, viewers. There are some positive things happening in the administration of labor matters here in the territory. The minister responsible for labor and other the other portfolio associated with that ministry, Deputy Premier Dr. Kedrick Pickering, today welcomed the launch of a long-awaited labor arbitration tribunal. Dr. Pickering said that today, November 11, is a red letter day for the territory because, of course, this is the first official setting up of this particular body that will govern issues relating to labor in the territory. So all employers and employees can look forward to a third level of having their issues resolved. Because, of course, as you may know, at the moment, the Labor Commissioner and her officers there would deal with all the issues that come to the ministry. And then if they are not resolved, most cases that are not resolved will go through to the minister. This is not the case this time. There is now a third level. Let's say the labor minister respond to his, I would say, high anticipation of the launch of this particular tribunal today.
And I have no doubt that this tribunal, guided by Mr. Dinish, shall exercise all of its powers, which include, number one, to make orders or awards as it considers fair and just, having regard to the interests of the persons concerned and the community as a whole. Number two, to act in accordance with equity, good conscience, and the substantial merits of the case before it, having regard to the principles and practices of good industrial relations. So throughout this process, we have worked very closely with the International Labour Organization, ILO Sub-Regional Office, and the Industrial Court of Trinidad and Tobago, both based in Trinidad and Tobago, to ensure that the Labour Dispute Tribunal is established in the most efficient and effective manner possible.
So there you have it, the Deputy Premier responding to that highly anticipated launch, I should have said, of the Labour Arbitration Tribunal. And we also had the first chairman appointed, lawyer Paul Dennis QC, who said that he is ready to go.
As a pioneer, there will be challenges, I'm sure, which I will face, but we are ready to proceed. And as soon as the work which is awaiting us is placed before us, we will be delving in with great enthusiasm and gusto. There's work to be done, and we are ready to proceed.
And in addition, Cromwell, Dennis QC also said that the decisions made by the tribunal will be binding, except, of course, that there is a caveat for any persons who may have, any aggrieved party who may have an issue with a decision that is based on law. And he says that in that case, they may be allowed to take the matter to the High Court. But pretty much the decisions made by the tribunal will be binding. Let's hear him in this clip and we can have a brief discussion.
There is allowed, under that same provision, an appeal from a decision of the tribunal to the High Court on matters of law only. What that means is that once the tribunal has heard a case, its adjudication and decision on matters of fact are binding on the parties. No one and no court is allowed to look behind that. If, however, in coming to its decision, the tribunal applies the appropriate law applicable to that case incorrectly, which then results in an incorrect conclusion or decision, then an aggrieved party may appeal to the High Court on that point of law. And the High Court then has the jurisdiction to either affirm the decision or to overturn the decision. if indeed it finds that an error has been committed. Insofar as your second question is concerned, how does the tribunal ensure that its orders are complied with? The Labor Code also provides that the decisions of the tribunal have equal weight and status as a decision of the High Court. And what that means is that the foundation is laid for such orders or decisions to be enforced through the same mechanism which would be used to enforce a High Court order.
So there you have it, Cromwell, a very important institution, if you may say that, as it relates to the administration of labor disputes in the territory.
Well, it certainly is a welcome development, Sean. If it would have been good if we could get some regular workers who may have been waiting for this situation to develop for a long time. If we had some of what they might have said, were you able to get a sense in the environment today or any time about how people feel about the new development?
In response to that, I would say not much. There have been a number of reports and of course conversations about disputes not being settled, and some people are wary of possibly the short staff, if you may say that, at the Labor Department. They think that there needs to be more people to address, address the various issues as they come to hand. But generally speaking, there seem to be a very large pile of disputes there on the minister's desk or on the Labor Commissioner's desk, and one gets the impression that either an employer or an employee from time to time makes some sort of application to the department to have an issue resolved.
So certainly this is welcome by both employees and employers alike. I'm wondering if there's going to be a backlog, because I don't know how much confidence, as far as you can tell, how much confidence do we have as employees or persons have as employees in the Labor Department regarding settling of disputes. It seems that, I'm always getting complaints from someone about some injustice being done on the job or by an employer. And I also get complaints from employers about employees who either steal or tidy. It's back and forth. You have these complaints, and I'm wondering if the employer and employee is going to go now directly to the tribunal. How is that going to work? What's going to be the process?
Right. As I indicated earlier, it's actually the tribunal will function as a third level. So first they'll go to the various officers, the dispute officers within the Labor Department. I suspect that the submission actually goes to the Labor Commissioner, who then delegates the responsibility. But pretty much the Labor Commissioner or the Labor Office deals with those disputes, and when they are not resolved, they are sent to the Minister's office for his input. Now in this case, usually the Minister would have the matter resolved, I suspect. In most cases, probably, I'm not sure. But in this case, he will now have the opportunity to send the matter on to the tribunal. The tribunal will consist of 3 people: the chairman, Paul Dennis QC, and the 2 other persons. One will be selected by either party who is involved in the dispute. And that's pretty much how it will work, as it was pointed out to us today.
The aggrieved person is going to be able to bring an adjudicator to the tribunal?
Yes,
is that how that's going to work?
They will select a member to sit along with the chairman.
So you have a different person sitting on different cases all the time?
Pretty much. So the constant person in that process will be the chairman.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. So he will pretty much be the judge, and he'll have a sort of a jury on his side to assist him, I suspect.
So it's not a case. It's not a case where everything that any challenge that you have, whether it's an employee, is going to go directly to the tribunal.
No, not at all.
It's not going to work that way.
Not at all. And then
it has to go through this process before it gets there.
Yes, has to go through the normal process. And when it gets to the minister's desk, that's where it will be decided whether
Whether
it
it's going
goes
to
to
go
the tribunal
or not. So the minister decides if the case merits
Yes,
going to the tribunal.
that's right.
And
That's
is
right.
any criteria set up? How does he determine?
Well, that's a very
what goes?
interesting question, and as the two speakers, the minister and Dennis Christie, pointed out today, that much of their decisions will be based on fairness and equity. So it's highly subjective.
So the discretionary call on the part
Very
of the
much,
minister.
very much so.
Okay.
So they are called to be very professional and just in the administration of their duties where this is concerned.
Well, certainly it is a good development, but it remains to see how it's going to be functioning and how effective it's going to be. So we welcome it, and we're waiting to see the work that Attorney Dennis is going to do.
One of the things the minister raised as I leave is the fact that they had some consultations early in the first half of this administration. And during many of those public consultations, a number of issues were raised. And coming out of those discussions, the Labor Department, the ministry responsible for labor, is now administering various changes and putting things into place to improve the situation, because the problems ranged from employers having issues with employees misusing the sick days and other issues relating to that, and of course employees concerned about being treated unfairly by employers.
Okay. So we wait to see how that works out, huh, Sean?